Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're in Nedarim, page 74, which discusses the law of a woman who is called a Shomeret Yavam, which is a tragic situation where her husband died and they were childless. So there is a unique mitzvah that we say that she is supposed to marry her deceased husband's brother. Now, of course, nowadays this is not something which typically takes place. Instead, there is a ceremony which releases her, which is called chalitza. However, at this state where she is this Shomeret Yavam, the question is, do we say that the husband-to-be, which again is the brother, does he have the ability, if she makes a vow, is he allowed to have them removed? Now, we did mention already in this chapter that when it comes to an engagement, at that stage we say, as long as she is the age of a naira, that it works as a partnership together with her father, that both of them, upon hearing a vow, they both can annul it. It has to be that both of them do so. The question is, do we say that law applies also in this situation? So, as one could imagine, a lot of times the answer is it's an argument. According to one opinion, namely the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer, he says it doesn't matter. It can always be done. However, according to Rabbi Akiva, he says that this man has no ability to do so. He does not have the same strength as a man who goes and actually marries a woman in a typical fashion, because he really didn't do much. Rather, it just happened to be, based on these laws, that after his brother dies, that she is someone that he will eventually marry. But he didn't actually do anything, and therefore he shouldn't be able to annul. So we see right off the bat, the interesting opinion of Rabbi Akiva can be derived, that when you put forth some effort and you do something, it makes sense that you should be able to have some type of reward in return. A person who just sits back and does absolutely nothing and expects handouts and expects that everything, just like all those hard workers and all of the privileges, seemingly privileges, that they're receiving, it's really because of their hard work. It's because they did something. So, too, over here, Rabbi Akiva says, this guy didn't do anything to be able to deserve this privilege of being able to annul a vow. And therefore, again, for ourselves, if you don't accomplish anything, you have no right to really expect that you should have the same privileges or the same things that others who put forth so much effort and work and toil to be able to get what they have. Now, just as a point, there is a third opinion, that it says it depends on how many brothers there are. Because if there's one remaining living brother, so we know at the end of the day, he's the one that is going to end up doing the yibum. He'll end up marrying her or releasing her with chalitza. So maybe in that situation, we will give him this authority. However, if there's two brothers, we don't know which one's actually going to end up doing the potential marriage. Because if there's two, even though typically we want the older sibling to do the actual marriage, technically either one could do it. And therefore, because of that, according to him, they say that if there's two brothers, neither of them could annul. So perhaps we could learn out, again, another important message, that there is a difference between when the responsibility is completely on your shoulders. When you know you have an obligation and you must do something, so then perhaps there, because of that obligation, you now have certain privileges and certain rights. But if it's possible that you may not even be the one doing something, you may be completely passive, and it's your brother that does something instead, so maybe in that situation, you should not be given any rights either.